Hello, and welcome back to Path to Uni, part of the Southampton Sessions podcast series. I'm Brian, and today we're discussing a big question. How does a degree and the university you chose actually help you get a job? We're here in the Highfield Campus studio, and this episode is all about careers and employability, as well as the opportunities supporting you starting your own business and how the university can support you as an entrepreneur. We'll chat support and what's available throughout your time at Southampton and the real-world experiences that help you become industry ready. We'll be answering the questions students ask us every year, the ones that come up in the online forums, at open days, in inboxes, and when you're choosing a course and thinking about where it might lead. And let's face it, we know our parents are supporters and want to know if our degree is going to get us a job. We'll be exploring careers, guidance and mentoring, placements and internships, industry standard facilities, field trips, and the ways the university connects students with employers and industry partners. Joining me today are Gemma, Clare, and Becca from the Careers and Employability and Enterprise teams, who will be sharing how students are supported to explore options, build skills, and turn ideas into opportunities. So whether you're exploring courses, thinking about the future careers, or wanting to understand how the university can help you stand out in the job market, you're in the right place. So to kick us off, we're going to start with each and everyone telling us a little bit about what the career support has to offer and in the university as a student, and just a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah. So the University of Southampton has a really large career service. We've got over 60 people in our team, all here to support the students in different ways, no matter what stage they're at in their career development. So if they have no idea what they want to do, they're not even ready to think about it yet, or if they're right at that compete stage where they're out there doing interviews. There's a full range of appointments that students can access, from short appointments that they can book themselves Monday to Friday with no judgment, no pressure. They're called Ask the Advisor because you can ask absolutely anything to do with careers. Even if it's not to do with careers, we can direct you to the right place. And then we also have a range of more in-depth appointments with the careers consultants where you can dig deeper into those career decisions that you might have to make as well. But within our big team, there's a lot of smaller teams, which I know we're going to talk about more today.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And especially as a student navigating the university life, it's hard to know what courses will lead to what job. So it's nice to have that kind of like insight while at uni.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I'll go next then.
Yeah.
So I am in the Student Enterprise and Social Impact Lab team. So we are based down in the city centre, in the Junction, which I know you're familiar with. And we support students of any level, any degree, and also recent graduates that are looking to start a business, a brand, a startup, maybe just freelance, even those that wanting to do side hustles kind of alongside their degrees, but also through the Social Impact Lab, those that are wanting to really make a change in the local community or in the world through social enterprises and social community projects. So we're really accessible. As I say, people can come along to us with no idea, with all their ideas, and we're there to really help them through lots of different schemes that I know, as I say, we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, thank you. And Becca?
Yes, so obviously I work alongside my lovely colleagues here, but I also work in the work experience team. That's my main focus. And we cover a wide range of different opportunities for students, from internships to uni employment placements. So students going out for a year, working with an industry of their choice and their desire to get graduate roles potentially in the future, as well as the program that I run. So obviously I will sound a bit biased probably, but I do the Student Innovation Projects. It's a project that I run with our students. It's a 4-week consultancy-like program, and it enables students to work with local SMEs, charities around the Southampton area over a 4-week period. And those businesses usually have maybe a business challenge that they're currently facing. And myself and my team, we group roughly 4 to 5 students in a team, and they have to come up with creative solutions to tackle that business problem. They have to create, obviously, business reports, presentations for the client. And it's a fantastic opportunity for students to kind of dip their toe into the industry, see if it's something that they're interested in, and get that real practice on what it's like to work with in a consultancy-like environment. And then I also run another program very similar to that, known as the Student Innovation Projects, which is more of an intense version of the Student Innovation Projects. I like to say it's a Student Innovation Projects probably on steroids. It's not 4 weeks, it's 4 days, but I'm sure we'll probably get more into that later on in the podcast when we discuss what that program is and what offers for the students as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's nice to have something that complements, your uni experience, and also that also adds to eventually getting a good job.
Yeah, and I think a lot of students tend to be a bit nervous when they get that work experience. Oh, where do I start? Do I go straight into an internship? Do I do a year in employment? Oh, I don't know where to start. And having programs like that really helps students just, like I said, dip their toe in, see if it's something that they're interested in, and then just go from there. And I always say just say yes to everything, because you never know what it could lead to, such as like ask the advisors, go to those appointments, because there's always going to be someone there in the careers department that's going to support you and give you that guidance that you need.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Now, I'd love to chat a little bit more about the enterprise team, which, to be fair, I'm a bit biased because I've sort of had a lot of experience with. Could you just tell us a little bit about what specific tools that the enterprise team sort of have available to a student like myself?
Yeah, so you are very familiar with our team, as you were one of our summer interns, and I'm also a business founder, which I'm sure we will talk about a little bit later. I wanted to ask you a little bit before I go into what we do, like how you found the experience of kind of working, both with our team, but kind of experiencing what the whole team had to offer.
Yeah, so like I said, I started off with an idea, and like many businesses, it's just an idea that you sort of have to develop. And so while being at uni, it's sort of like you have so much things you're juggling, and you have no idea of where that little small nugget could take you to. So my journey started with the Ask an Advisor. So just literally a short call with one of the enterprise team. And from there, I sort of developed the idea further, whether that was doing a little bit more market research or just trying to get a better understanding of where the idea can eventually run to. And so from that, it just developed further and further, where more sessions I booked, the more the idea sort of finally started becoming more clear. And so with that one little booking, like I said, just saying yes to a lot of the things, we're able to start that journey and the entrepreneurial journey while still, being at the university. So I think for a lot of students, it's that, the anxiety of not having, the direction about where it could go. And so it's about just having that guidance, having that little support, which I think I found really, really good. So I think
that's great to hear for us. So you've summed up some of what we do really well there, and that's exactly what we're here to do for students. Is those that have an idea. Or don't have an idea but are interested in entrepreneurship. And we have such a wide range of students that come to us from all different faculties, all different degrees and all different levels, including, undergraduate, postgraduate. And as I said earlier, we do support you once you have graduated. So our support is the one-to-ones, as you've mentioned. So you can have enterprise one-to-ones, you can have social impact one-to-ones. We also have a wide range of events that we do, and our aim is to make it as accessible as possible. So whether that's an intimate workshop that maybe might have 7 to 10 people and you're really deep diving into a topic, to maybe a larger event that will be a panel. So a little bit like the setup we have here to record this podcast, where we'll have student entrepreneurs and our wider network entrepreneurs talking about their journey and what they're doing, and then networking for students to be able to speak to them afterwards, up to our big panel kind of talks that we have. So it can be an inspiring entrepreneur that comes along and talks about their journey, and that can be a much bigger event. So we like to try and have lots of different touch points, lots of different events that students can come to. We're just about to launch our sofa sessions, which is very exciting, which is going to be more of a casual drop-in type event that will have a theme to it, but there's kind of no pressure for students to really do anything. They can just come along, have a look around the space and kind of meet the team and put some faces to the names they might have seen. But it's really just helping any student on that journey and kind of being that voice that they can bounce ideas off and come and work in the space with us and come and do things. And as I said earlier, through the Social Impact Lab, it's having that real community impact in Southampton, you know, with the civic agenda we have. And that can be a wide variety of things through volunteering, community projects that are happening, and lots of links that we have within the city and beyond. So we're really sometimes led by students as to what they're looking for. We do tailor our programme to that each year, but we have lots of different opportunities for students to get involved, culminating in our foundership, which is every summer, which is a 10-week programme for students that you were an intern for, in which they really have that dedicated time to work on their business alongside lots of support from us and lots of different sessions.
Yeah, like you mentioned there, the foundership was, just give a little shout out to the foundership scheme. To be fair, 10 weeks can feel, can go really quickly, and especially it was a really nice opportunity to sort of community. I think in the business world is something really important because you have no idea how to approach a certain aspect that someone else maybe has experience in. And I think that whole experience was something that was quite fun. I'm going to move on to the next question. So for someone who not necessarily has a business idea, but they're trying to navigate the world of internships and, trying to look for that grad role and have no idea how to even go about it, how to write their CVs, how to approach the graduate experience days, how and what kind of support do we have in that area for a student like that?
Yeah, so just general support that's available for everyone. So we've got support available in lots of different formats as well. So if you're a bit shy and you don't want to speak to somebody, or you might find us a bit annoying, then we've got a careers platform, a one-stop shop called My Career, where you can access all of our resources. We've got a careers hub full of resources as well. So for example, you mentioned a CV. If you haven't got a CV at all and you need one, you can just go onto our resources hub, follow the pathway, build one, use our CV builder, and then you'd have one and we might never see you. But if you just don't know what to do and you want someone to help you, you can come along, book an Ask the Advisor or one of the International Careers Clinic appointments and come along and speak to someone and talk about building a CV. At the same time, if you're a PhD candidate or if you're a master's student who's professional level with 8 years work experience and you've got a professional level CV already and you just want someone to check that you've tailored it correctly to a really high level job, then we can do that as well. So you just basically come and see us. That's it. That's all you have to do. Whether you use the resource online or you come and see us, just make that step and there'll be someone there to guide you.
Yeah, come and see us as much as possible because we're here to support you. And I think a lot of students, they go to uni, they're just so focused on doing their degree when actually we are the fundamental basis that's going to really help you gain those soft skills, understand how to write a CV and build those people skills that are long lasting and no matter what job, what opportunity you apply yourself to. So come and bug us. That's what we would rather. We would rather see you twice a week than none in a year. So really make sure you utilise that. That would be my biggest advice for students as well. I'm sure you probably want to add on to that, Claire, as well.
Yeah, so I think, if you're not sure of where to start or what to do, we have a wonderful events team in our service who put on so many events throughout the year, including our careers fairs that happen 3 times in the year. It's such a great opportunity. The employers, they get to come to these, are covering all of our faculties and industries. So go and speak to one of them, come along to the careers fair. You can just wander around and see who's there. You don't have to approach anybody if you really don't want to, but there's lots of people there to just be able to speak to, of being like, I'm kind of interested in your industry. what can I do to make myself stand out? What are you looking for? Do you have any opportunities available at the moment? There's lots of events that happen throughout the year outside of these careers fairs as well. And they're just a great opportunity to actually get in front of an employer and ask them those questions of, what can I do? Like, I do want to work with you, but what's going to make me stand out? Because it is competitive. And I think engaging with our team as early as possible is just going to set you up, and it's just going to be the best way forward to get you the job you ultimately want to get to.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize that enough, because even as something as simple as how you talk to the employers during the careers fair, something like how do you approach them, the elevator pitch, or just how you can tell a little bit about yourself and sort of sell yourself to them, is something that I didn't know till I booked one of the sessions with, I think, Gemma. Yeah. So it goes to show that I think the resources are there, and sometimes, as like you mentioned, as a student, you're sort of, again, juggling a lot of things, and you don't necessarily know where to look for certain help. So by, constantly engaging and being active in some of these events does give you a leg up when you eventually have to apply and go into the world of work, sort of. So that's absolutely nice to know that there's some resources, and loads of resources for students that can do that. So as a follow-up to that, around how a degree or different degrees prepare you for industry. And, there's this word, industry ready, that's thrown around a lot. So practically, what does being industry ready mean as a student, in terms of how does it manifest itself as someone who's either just graduated or just about to graduate? How do they know they're industry ready?
Yeah, so I can cover that one. So we've actually had a major project across the whole university that's run over the last 3 years, and is now embedded in everything that we do in careers and also in the faculty. It's called Successful Futures. So what students see from Successful Futures actually is a suite of tools that they can use to identify their skills that make them industry ready. But what's gone behind the scenes with that is lots of industry research with employers, finding out what the skills are that they really want. So what skills, beyond just your academic skills and your technical skills, what other skills do they want? What are those transferable skills? So things like communication, teamwork, critical thinking, all of those competencies, if you like, that you can take between any job and which all employers really, really want. So you can imagine that as sort of a baseline to be industry ready, just like you asked. So that now runs through everything that we do. All of our programmes have been mapped to identify which of those skills they really cover well and which ones you're assessed with. And students can now use a tool within a pathway on the My Career tool to identify which skills they have covered in their course and which ones they might want to focus on. And then they can use our AI chatbot, our bespoke chatbot, to put their career ideas into and identify what skills those particular careers really want, so that then they can make a really tailored and targeted plan to use their precious time, because they haven't got unlimited time, okay? So it's good to say yes to everything, but you want to say yes to things that are going to take you one step closer to where you want to go. So that's what Successful Futures does, is it helps the students identify the skills that they need to work on. It helps them talk about the skills that have been covered in their programme, and it also has mapped loads of opportunities outside of the curriculum that they can then access to develop the skills that they need to. And that will include all of our stuff like the work experience programmes, but it might also include things like joining a society or taking a leadership role in a society or volunteering for a charity. So that's how it covers everything, and that's how we've identified what really does make you what we call industry ready or employable.
Oh, that's brilliant. And you mentioned AI, and the world is constantly changing, and you sort of don't know what to expect. And so some of the things that's being discussed online is as a student or as someone getting into education is, how do I prepare for myself for a job that doesn't exist yet, or how do I make myself AI proof, if you know what I mean, in terms of just how you prepare yourself for that world of work, or a world that's you don't know what to expect. And I'll post this question to you, Becca. So as a student, how do I prepare for, an ever-changing world?
And I don't know if you guys agree with me on this. I think from what I stand for and what our programme provides for students is, as we've mentioned, those transferable skills. And no matter how fast-paced technology is growing, changing, those basic skills will forever be needed, basically. So it doesn't matter how technical the job is that you wish to go into, or you don't know what that future will look like. Being able to adapt to that is really important, obviously, but having that communication skills, being able to deal with your time effectively, simple things like just being able to communicate efficiently and effectively to your employees, your colleagues, to other people is long-lasting skills that you need no matter what. It's good to be on top of AI and understand how to use it to your job, to your own advantage. Don't be lazy and use it for everything, because I know some students do that. And I totally understand that, but using those skills to adapt to that is important. But those transferable skills is so important, and that's why we have those in the work experience programs that we provide, like the student innovation projects, learning and teaching students how to do different skills that you don't do in your academic studies because you just don't have that opportunity to do so. So yeah, real transferable skills is really important, and that's going to take you across any industry that you wish to be a part of, really.
And I think being part of these programs, you're going to need that critical thinking. I think AI is a great tool, but as we all hear, you still need to be able to know how to prompt it and know how to use it, but actually also question what it's given back to you. So it's all about those skills that AI is never really going to be able to do for you, to remain kind of curious and to question things. I think that's what we try and do with Enterprise, is give students those skills that they can start their own thing. Some of our students have launched AI businesses, or businesses that do rely on AI for certain aspects of it. But a lot of time now we're looking for innovation. Traditional jobs may now be changing and may now be becoming something different. And a lot of people are wanting to take ownership of that and actually start their own thing. And that's what we're here to try and do. And I think, it's just keeping those really people skills, because, we are all still going to be people. We're not going to be overtaken by the machines just yet, I think. So taking those advantages to really hone those and keep that critical mind and that critical thinking alongside the practical studies that students are getting.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I agree completely with everything you've both just said. It's completely all around skills. But when you're thinking about technical skills, because a lot of our students are going to go into STEM sectors, because we do have a lot of STEM programs here, so a lot of them will be in technical roles. I don't think employers are looking for specific technologies. I don't think that's specifically what they're looking for. It's more of a growth mindset and technical capability. So if you remain interested in technology and AI and a changing world, and you've got that growth mindset where you're always wanting to learn, then that's what will take you through and make you successful in your career. For example, staff at the university here are given the opportunity to do the AI apprenticeship, so that we can learn how to use these tools and learn how to use them well. And if you go into any workplace with that attitude, then that's what employers are going to want. They're going to want people that are willing to learn new things. So it's not about learning a specific suite of technologies, for example, Excel or Copilot, because, like you said, that will disappear and you won't know what job you'll be doing in a few months. But if you're fully prepared that you're willing to learn those new technologies, then again, that's always going to make you employable, and it will make you stand out as well.
That was great. I'd like now to focus more on the technical skills and the skills you sort of gain at the university and how that would help you become industry ready.
Yeah, well, you get that as a benefit of being part of a global top 100 research-led university. So, we have a world-famous Faculty of Engineering, we have our environmental sciences, all full of really industry-level facilities, things like the wind tunnel, the labs, the towing tanks. And you also get the benefit of working with global leading professionals. So our professors and our academics, they're teaching you for some of their time, but some of their time they're doing, world leading research, things like curing cancer and things like that. And they're always, in the news and talking about, life-changing inventions and things like that, and research. So as a student here, you get the benefit of working with them, and that really does make you industry ready in terms of technical skills and role-focused skills.
Yeah, I absolutely attest to that. I'm a civil engineer, and in the first year we were building miniature versions of the gherkin. So you have really good exposure to the stuff that you'd meet in the real world, and that sort of helps you not be fazed by some of the technical aspects of the role. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So industry professionals seek out our students sometimes for specific programs for that reason. Yeah. So they might have been working with unique facilities or tools or instruments that you only got at this university. So we often get contacted by employers in countries all around the world that are specifically seeking out our students for that reason.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Now, as a civil engineer, so before I applied, I was sort of lost into what exactly the civil engineering and architecture would eventually lead to. As a student who's just in the process of applying or is just about to apply, how would they approach finding out if this course is actually going to help them out or will give them the outcome that they sort of are looking for?
So careers research is really, really important. Remember that you're not tied to a specific career from a specific course either. So you can change your mind at any point, but it still is really important to do that research early on. So you can do it in a number of ways. You can research online. So there's some really trusted websites that we'd use ourselves as well, like the Prospects website, which we know we can trust, and also the National Career Service website as well. But I'd make use of your college or your sixth form career service, because wherever you're studying now, they're going to have a career service just like us. So make use of speaking to them, but also come and see us at the open days and the visit days. So we'll have a careers stand, and we'll be able to talk to you about careers. That's what we're there for.
And could you just touch a little bit about the open days and what exactly happens in these days?
So they're a really great opportunity that if you're, wanting to come to university, wanting to find out more, you can come down and first see the campus, because I think for a lot of people getting ready to come to university, getting prepared for where that might lead, you're going to spend so much time here. What is it actually like? Is it nice? Like, what's going on? So actually coming down to the open days and the visit days, we have some that are for offer holders, some that are more open. If you maybe haven't applied yet, you can see it's a beautiful campus. We're very lucky here in Southampton. It's a very green campus on main campus, but we have a variety of campuses around the city. I'm based in the city centre, for example. So coming to an open day is a great opportunity to speak to our team, but it's also a great opportunity to speak to academics and learn, as you said, about the courses and ask those questions about, well, I want to do this. Are you going to cover this? This is the path I want to go down, and actually kind of speak to the faculties and speak to the schools. It's a really great fact-finding mission, not only to find out the careers and employability kind of opportunities that you have, but find out what the university is like where do I get my coffee? Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to study? And then to learn more about, is what I've chosen going to take me where I want to be? Or do I maybe need to look at a slightly different degree here, because we have so many options? It's just a really great way. And a lot of parents, when I go to open days as well, it's really important for them to actually picture where their kids are going to be and to meet staff and to know that they're going to be in a great place and that they're going to have lots of great opportunities. So it's all about that research piece of, preparing yourself for your journey by, coming physically to the university and to speak to the academics and speak to people like our teams and the wider student experience directorate that are going to be here to support you.
Now, on the flip side, you have someone who's, fully focused on the degree, they've done really well, and, didn't have an opportunity to do internships because they thought, I'd have to, let me just focus on my studies. And a lot of them online are looking at it in terms of, I've now graduated and are feeling a little bit unprepared into entering the world of work. Is there anything you could sort of point to, or like just a little words of advice into, how to navigate that if they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by not having necessarily the skill set that most employers are looking for?
I would say, as we've said, come to us. As I mentioned earlier, we do support graduates, and that's not just by them still being able to come and speak to us and access our spaces or our resources. We have opportunities for graduates as well. So we do graduate internships and other opportunities that they can actually build some work experience by taking advantage of that. A lot of the events that we run and a lot of the activities we do are open to graduates. And as I say, the one-to-one appointments are there. So if someone's graduated and they have really focused on their degree, and then they find they're either nearing graduation or they've graduated and they're, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I want to do, then with so many different ways we can support them with the CV appointments, with the ASCII advisors and the consultant appointments. They can come and speak to us and get that one-on-one advice. But there's also lots of opportunities on the My Career platform that they can access to build themselves up and to build that experience that they maybe didn't have the time to do, because students are very busy and a lot of degrees are really intensive. And so, we do appreciate that they may be focusing a lot on that and not necessarily on the extracurricular stuff.
And I can understand them feeling overwhelmed because it's so much. You're doing your degree, who knows, all your other social activities as well. So it is a lot to take on when you do go to university, so I can appreciate that. But, we do have so many opportunities open to graduates. So as you mentioned, the internships, they can range from 2 weeks to 12 weeks long. They're paid opportunities, so you can really look on My Career, the different varieties and opportunities available to graduates. Up to a year after they've graduated, they can apply for those. And then we've also got the Innovation Challenge, the program that I run. That's actually open to graduates as well, up to a year after graduation. And if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed, volunteering or dipping your toe into like a program like the Innovation Challenge, where it's only 4 days, is not too much of a commitment, but you're still gaining those skills that you would need, and that builds upon your work experience as well. So working with a client over a course of 4 days, writing a business report, presenting your ideas as well. These are all skills that are really going to add value to your CV, and you can utilise them and use them in interviews as well. So I understand why students feel overwhelmed and you just want to focus on your degree, and that's actually really good because that shows commitment. It shows focus to your studies, which is impressive alone. But adding upon that and then doing those smaller little bite-sized opportunities actually adds to your CV and your experience overall. So there are many, many opportunities out there, and some of them are really fun. And like I said, short, bite-sized little activities that you can get involved in.
Yeah, short and sweet. I love that. Now, so we talk about, the university is an international university. You've got loads of different nationalities who come all the way to Southampton, a lovely city for education. And after to go back home, to do various different, roles in the industry. What kind of support do we have for people like that, or people who have sort of not necessarily based in the UK, but are still doing loads of brilliant things in their home countries? Are there any events or support or thing available for them?
Yeah, so I'll cover that. So University of Southampton, we've taken great strides to develop our support and our partnerships with our international students, graduates and alumni. So over the last 2 years, we've really developed our support for international students while they're here. And gradually, as we've been listening to the students through hundreds of one-to-one appointments, talking to them, finding out what they want, and also finding out a bit about where they're going afterwards. And often they don't know. Often they're considering the whole world. So they might have quite a complex plan, looking at the UK with home as a backup and maybe the rest of the world as a third backup. So it's quite complex, the plans that we help them work through. But we've taken great strides to partner with our alumni team as well, with our international alumni relationship manager. Her and I have done some great work with developing alumni networks in countries all around the world. We've had trips abroad, we've led events, we led careers networking events in Bangkok, and those are just starting to really take off now. So after 2 years of gradually working out what we needed to do, we've now taken a great big bold investment in our international student career support with a new offering called Career Advantage. So that's tailored for China and India. And then we have Career Advantage Global, global, which is for all the other countries that we work with. So that includes everything that we offer in the university. So our international students can access everything that everyone can. But we understand that as an international student, you face lots of challenges, whether it's tackling visas in the UK or another country, or being away from your home country and not being there for those recruitment rounds, or having such a complex plan to work through with researching new countries you might never even thought about that might have great opportunities. So as part of that package, yes, to answer your question, that does include in-country support. So especially focusing on China, and we have gradually built up our relationship with businesses in China. We held a series of China employer webinars this year. The reason we focus on China first was because we know that predominantly a cohort of Chinese students are looking to return home straight away. So we felt that there was a gap there and they really needed our support with staying linked to those employers and not missing those recruitment dates. So part of Career Advantage China will include an in-country team. So we'll have part of our team now in China very soon who will be able to support those students when they return home with employer connections, employer events, internships, and also career support. In India, we'll also have a small team where we will have employer engagement. So they'll be connecting us. So we'll be working together with employers while the students are still studying here, but so they can connect back home with those employers through online events and webinars and recruitment events. And we'll also have career guidance back in India as well. And then all together between us, the employer engagement team in India and the UK will focus on the rest of the world. For example, I've got 7 meetings with employers in Vietnam this week. We speak to employers from all around the world, mainly starting off with our alumni networks, just so we can bring that round. We have a LinkedIn group for our global talent so that our students can join it while they're here, so that they can receive opportunities that we know you can access on a visa. And then after they graduate, they become alumni and then employers, and they stay in that LinkedIn network and then can support and hopefully hire our next round of students. So we're growing it like that.
And just to add, I'm really plugging my programme, as you can do. I might as well use this opportunity. But what's really good is with the Student Innovation Projects, we have probably 50% of the students that apply are international students because there's not restrictions on visas. You can work on the project round your schedule. So you can do an hour every Monday, 2 every Wednesday. There's no real restriction. It's working around your timetable, your schedule. But what's most important about the programme is for international students, they get to work with UK-based companies, having that opportunity to understand what it's like to work with a UK company, what's the culture like, what's the different equity. There's a long list of things that we can really do and support for our international students. And a lot of them really enjoy it because, bless them, you've never actually presented it before, let alone in a different country. It's so overwhelming, but also so impressive what international students do when they take part in our programme. And because we group them in a real diverse groups, it's really good for international students because they can learn from UK-based students, so they can be like, oh, this is how we present in our country, how do you? And you get to learn each other's cultures as well, which is a really beautiful thing to watch from my perspective, but also see the students grow in confidence and see what it's like in the UK in terms of studying here. So, yeah, if you're an international student and you want to get some work experience, just please, go for the Student Innovation Projects. We would love to have students on there and support you and help you further, really.
Yeah, man, and I think it's something essential because, as I said, a lot of it's hard to know the different ways to approach certain aspects, and so having the fact that the support still continues not only while you're graduated but also while you're still in the university sort of circle. It's nice to have such sort of events that help complement your learning.
I think it's often said at graduation that I've had the pleasure of being at many of our graduation ceremonies that the presiding officer will often say, you are now part of our alumni community, to the students that sat there in the audience, and when we tell you to take on the world, you really take on the world because our alumni network is so vast. So you graduate from Southampton, you may return to your home country or a third option, you'll always find someone. So you'll always find someone to have in a network that may be a recruitment opportunity. So it's, really making sure that you don't just come and graduate, you actually, sign up to the alumni community and really be part of that, because there's so many opportunities that we've talked about here. There's lots we do in Enterprise to support students. There are restrictions on visas, but there's lots of activities and resources that they can get involved in while they're here, but really taking advantage of that alumni network, because we do have people pretty much everywhere. And there's lots of events that happen. So it's really just, Southampton isn't just here for while you're here. We're here for while, you've left us as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Truly global university. And to be fair, from my experience, I do agree with that. It's literally all different cultures are within the university. And I know you sort of mentioned all, probably a little snippets while we've been talking about the career advantage and what it is about. And sort of like last, closing remarks in terms of what the students or whoever our listeners are can be able to get out of the career advantage.
So career advantage is designed to acknowledge that it's important to start preparing for your career even before you get here, especially for international students that are on the 1-year masters, for example. Yeah, there's so much to get used to when you're moving to a new country, you're settling in. So that's why we've put career advantage in place. It's a package of support, and actually students can pick out the parts of it that most suit them. But just quickly, it's something that they would start in country. So when they have their offers, we run a series of webinars, and they're career preparation webinars. And that's a mixture of how to access the career service when you get here, overviews of the UK job market, and they're tailored as well for each country. So in China, our webinars will cover social media and selling yourself on Chinese social media, run by one of the biggest PR agencies in China that run it for us, with all the big social media companies as well, Redbook. And then as soon as you get here, if you've attended some of those webinars, watched some of our YouTube content, you should feel fully prepared to then know where we are, come and access us and decide what you want to access. And while you're here, you can access a range of support, stuff that we already do and things that we're going to bring in next year as well as part of the new package. And that is focused heavily on work experience. So as Becca and Clare mentioned, students will come with a range of work experience at a range of stages. So if you're an international student and you have no work experience, as we often hear from students, and as we know, it's difficult to get experience without experience. So what Becca's been touching on is how you can kind of ladder your experience up from zero. So we're even enhancing that by enhancing our volunteering opportunities. So we've introduced a volunteering badge. So those students that just a little bit nervous about starting, they can start with volunteering, get the volunteering badge. That's also giving back to the community, meeting people from different countries as well, practicing speaking English if that's what they want to develop, if that's the skill they need to develop. Then they can ladder their work experience up, build their CV, get all that support, the tailored workshops that we already run. We run a really, really good series of international alumni and student career networking events, which we've been steadily growing. So they will grow massively next year. And they have a number of functions, actually. So we bring together only very recent alumni. So alumni that have secured jobs, international alumni that have secured jobs in this UK job market. Yeah, so how it is now with these visa rules this year, so that's very relevant. We bring them along to a venue that's, relaxed, neutral, food and drink provided. And then we invite students so they can talk, find out how they got their jobs, what their experiences were like, and also help each other. But also that helps with students connecting with people. If they stay behind and say all their friends go back home, they won't have any friends. So that's really important. Those events are really important beyond careers as well. And then the support continues when you go home. So everyone can access our service for 5 years and more if they need after they graduate. But now we'll have extra teams in country when they go home. So students can get a range of support afterwards as well.
That's brilliant. So if you're a little bit coy, have no idea where to go, what's the best way to to actually get engaged or get involved with the careers and employability and student enterprise team?
I would say, I mentioned earlier the careers fairs. Now, the first set of careers fairs are quite early on in the academic year. We often have a presence at the welcome weekend, but obviously a lot of students, may not go to that. So I think that first round of careers fairs is a great opportunity because our teams have stands there. So we do have a sort of section for our team. We have the work experience team have a specific stand. We also have one for the whole department. So it's just a really great opportunity to, obviously come and meet employers, but to meet the team as well, to hear about what we're doing, even if it's just they are quite shy, they might just pick up a flyer and walk on. They do have lots of talks as well. So our teams do go out to lectures during that induction season and actually speak to students, as well as the academics themselves will be telling students. So there's lots of touch points very early on. Either it's one of us going to speak to them, or it's that first set of careers events that are really a good way to meet some of the team. Even if it's not the exact part of the team you want, you'll hear about what careers do, and we'll be able to talk to you about your own sort of specific needs and wants, and then direct you to the right place. So I think, come to those early events, whether it's welcome weekend, whether it's the freshers kind of fair, whether it's the halls fairs, or whether it's that first careers fair. They all happen in that first kind of, maybe month that students are here. There's lots of opportunities to meet our team and find out more about what we're all doing.
We also, within the work experience team, we've been doing it quite recently, actually, Insight Days. So it will be an Insight event where you can come to speak to our team, and we go through what each program is, if you can take part in it, what the hours are like, the commitment. And like we said, you can speak to each member usually. But what's really lovely is we usually have a panel event as well. So we may have some employers that we've got to work with, students that's actually done our program. So a lot of students may be a bit nervous to talk to actual staff members. I mean, we try not to be scary, but, I totally understand if you're a bit overwhelmed. But we do have students that's done the programme as well. And you often find students like connecting and talking to other students that've done it. What was your experience like? Oh, this was great. This is what I did. This is what I learned. Actually, I would recommend maybe not doing this. Giving general tips and advice is really, really beneficial for students. So go on My Career. I know you don't always want to go on My Career, but go on the events calendar and you can see those Insight events that we provide for students. They run typically throughout the different semesters, but mainly in October time when all our students come back, that's when we run them. So do look out, and we do have some fantastic panel events, and you can talk to us and students as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. Right. Before we let you go, any last words of, advice or little snippets of nuggets of information you could sort of leave with?
I think back to my point that I've made earlier about those open days and visit days, and that preparing before you come. We've talked a lot about what is available while you're here and what opportunities you can do while you're here, and even we've discussed when you graduated. But I think preparing to come to university is a big step for a lot of people. So I think engaging with the university from that early set, whether it's before you've applied or you've applied and you have your offer, will set you up, because you'll learn more. You won't just arrive, and I remember when I moved into uni, it's very scary no matter how much research you've done. But I think if you've been here, you're familiar with the campus, you've met people like us and other teams, and you've started to ask those questions, you might just have a little bit more of an idea of what it's going to be like and feel a little bit more comfortable. And then I think once you're here, as I said, come to those careers fairs, come to those early events, and just speak to all of the different teams and figure out what opportunities you're going to want to take advantage of.
Yeah, and international students, international offer holders will be contacted with how they can access the pre-entry webinars that will explain everything for them, and also with recorded content on YouTube that they can watch just to get prepared for when they get here.
And when you are a current student and you're here at Southampton, make sure you just come to the career service and bug us. We want to see you as much as possible. We would rather see you too much than hardly at all. So do come and speak to us. We're more than happy to help you. And within the work experience team, we do offer Insight events, so you can come find out a bit more about each of our programs and speak to us about what we do and what's available to you as a student. And most importantly, you can speak to students that have currently done the programs, so you don't always have to speak to us because we can be a bit scary to approach. I totally understand that. So speak to students and get a real insight of what it was like for them and top tips and advice from them.
Lovely. We've had some interesting conversations, some lovely insights, and I'm sure loads of people will be happy to listen to a lot of the conversations we've had. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, really great. Thank you.
Now we have a better understanding of what is offered here at the uni and the kind of support we get as students. I wanted us to chat to some alumni, Will, who graduated in 2024 in geography, and Sonia, who graduated in 2025 in accounting and finance. Will and Sonia, please introduce yourselves and share what you're up to now.
Yes, so I graduated last year. I did accounting and finance. I did a study abroad for a bit. I went to Barcelona and to Toulouse. And then after graduating, I currently work in property. So I've got my own business that I run alongside my other job, which is in a housing association. So yeah, everything property is what I kind of did after uni, which I didn't think I would, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's brilliant. What about you, Will?
So my name is Will. I graduated 2 years ago from BA Geography or Human Geography. And I now work as a business analyst for the university, actually. So I studied and now work at the same place. I've also dabbled in project management. After graduating, I continued to work for university in various departments. I've worked in accommodation, I've worked in widening participation, I've worked in the recruitment side, and then eventually I wound my way up into our IT service as a business analyst. You could say I'm institutionalized, but no, I really love working for university and in the higher education sector because it changes changes lives really. And I did a few internships whilst at university, which is what propelled me to now work here full time.
Oh, brilliant. Sonia, I'll start with you. So you say you started a business, and I'm sort of in the same boat in that regard. So what are some of the support and the sort of resources available that you sort of tapped into while being at uni that sort of helped not only shape your idea, but also give you the confidence to actually, make it a business?
I think when I first came to uni, I was very much one of the students that would just go to the lectures, turn up and sit at the back of the class. And then having looked at other students and seen that I'm kind of just putting myself away a little bit, I opened up, saw my emails, checked my emails quite a bit, and then I built a rapport with the business school and the organisers of events. So I was in talks with Holly Street quite a lot, who organises a lot of events based around networking and getting just bridging that gap between students and working professionals. So I went to loads of events, kind of sometimes it was all the time. I'd finish uni and go to an event, but I was the talent development programme winner of last year, so 2025. And that it helped me because I was doing workshops to consistently work on myself and make sure I'm putting myself out there and how to talk to people. And then I also went to a director's dinner, which was loads of working professionals that came in, and we had a meal with these people. And then I also went to LinkedIn events, which were literally solely just based around getting students to work on their LinkedIn profiles. So I think that helped me a lot. And then there was loads of grant schemes and stuff like that, and initiatives with Future Worlds, which is they've got a whole separate building actually in Southampton University that push for that entrepreneurial side. So I was going there quite a bit, booking those one-to-one appointments with a few of the people down there. I think it was Dan that I dealt with a lot. And they just push you to open your business, and they push that idea from just having a basic structure of just what I want to do to building a logo, building a name, how to get my brand out there, and then working on myself as one of you're almost like a product when you're working in that sector and you're the face of a business. So yeah, I worked through that and then also did my degree, which was very relevant to what I wanted to do. So yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And of course, you have sort of a slightly different journey where you sort of started off as, one of the events of being as an ambassador to now actually working there as a part of the university doing business analytics. So for you, how exactly did that journey manifest itself? Going from, geography to business, but also just the first encounter with the student support.
Yeah, so I have no idea what I wanted to do when I came to university. I chose my subject just because I found it interesting and because I might be able to go on field trips, which is nice. And I came to university and I just wanted to explore and just wanted to get to know myself. And then in first year, at the end of first year, I got an email from my professor saying that he needed a student to become an ambassador and guide some other students around campus and show them what the university looked like. And I thought, it's a bit of money, might as well. It won't become anything, but I'll do that. But that led to me becoming a student ambassador, picking up other shifts, doing other campus tours, working at the visit days, open days. It was sort of a snowball effect or a cascade from that one email from my professor. I remember seeing it, I was just happened to be on my phone and I happened to be in bed looking at my phone. I was very lucky I saw that email. But that snowball led to me working in various parts of university, making connections. I think, as you said, it's all about making connections. I got to know lots of academics around university, lots of other ambassadors, lots of our professional services staff here, and sort of discover the community that was the university. This encouraged me to do some more work for university during the summer because, to be honest, my brother had got an internship and I thought I probably should as well. So I applied to do an internship for the university's IT department. Again, not thinking it would come of anything, just thought, why not? Did an interview. I got the internship and I did about 10 weeks as a business analyst. I had never come across that term ever before in my life. I was more interested in the internship from the IT and project management side, but I really enjoyed the business analysis side, and it taught me really great skills. And it's kind of, again, another snowball cascade effect, pushed me to do some LinkedIn learning, some trainings, make new connections, find out what that means. And it was all of these kind of came out by accident. And it just ended up with me wanting to do more internships and then working for the university properly after I graduate.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And just to follow up on that point, this is going to be a question for both of you. How do you feel your university degree helped shape you in terms of put you in a better position?
In my degree, we had this specific module in third year called the Professional Geographer, which was a module designed to get you ready for your career once you graduate. And I think that really was a benefit. And a lot of courses have this. I know environmental science has a similar one and some business courses have similar modules. And they sort of take you away from the academic side of the course and show you how to apply that in the world. And this module taught me interview skills. It taught me how geography is not just about volcanoes or earthquakes or cities or whatever, but it's also, you can transfer so many skills into things like analysis, things like management, and it can kind of go anywhere. That was the beauty of my degree. And yeah, this module was really eye-opening. Another thing my degree had, which I'm quite lucky to have had, is field trips. And they kind of opened my eyes to the world and showed me how you can step outside your comfort zone, how you can develop yourself as a person, which then helps your career. So I went to a few countries, some as part of the course, some optionally. And we did some research in these countries. I did some transport research in Netherlands and some river research in Cambodia. And this wasn't necessarily directly linked to my career, but it showed me what's out there, and it showed me how I can apply my skills and how it's useful, and kind of makes me improve my confidence as well.
Yeah, similar to Will, I kind of did accounting and finance, and I thought it was just going to be spreadsheets and maths. And then I ended up travelling to Barcelona. I lived there for a month and a bit. And then I also lived in the south of France for a bit as well. And when I was out there, I did some modules on like marketing. I was learning basic French. Don't quote me now because I'll probably just end up saying bonjour and call it a day. But no, when I went there, it increased my confidence a lot. And I think there's essential life skills that I hadn't picked up whilst studying before. So I think that helped me out a lot. Within my degree, I think taking a degree that is about business and accounting. If I hadn't done that, I would have never known what a mortgage is. I would have never known the value for money. So my degree and the modules that I encountered, I use it nearly every day. So, for example, there was like tax and audit that I did in second year and third year, and it ties over and they just follow through with it. And those fundamental values of like learning the quantities of expenses, and not to sound too boring, but like the liabilities and how to make money, I think it makes you realise how essential it is to know it after uni. And then when I finished university, I applied for a job in a housing association that's relatively quite big and well known around the south region of the UK. And I think it all tied in. It's like everything fell in place. So the team are brilliant, but if I hadn't done those networking events, I wouldn't have been able to showcase myself as the true individual I am. So I would have just gone in professionally, done my job and left. But I can actually say that everything I picked up along the way of travelling, doing my degree, and then also those extracurricular events had all come together and put me in the strongest position I could offer myself in for the job. And yeah, so I think it's a lot of the time it's about making sure your personality shines through. Because although you're in a professional context, you still have to bring something different. And it's very much easy to just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, and I think that's usually the dilemma is how do I fit in, but how do I also let my sort of personality shine through? And that's usually quite a conundrum. And if I bet for you and Will as well, if it was some of those networking events help you learn some of those skills where you sort of, okay, I can speak at this point, this is how I can let, when you're doing group discussions or when you have a little breakout room and doing some of the projects, there's certain ways some of those skills sort of seep in without even you noticing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think even for me personally, as a civil engineer, like I mentioned earlier, first year we went and built a miniature gherkin version of the gherkin, which, doing all the concreting, doing all the formwork, and that is a real world experience that necessarily positions you in a nice place when you eventually graduate. I just want to ask something about an advice for prospective students. As a prospective student who's wanting to learn about the university or just to position themselves in a nice way, how would you advise them to navigate in that world?
Well, I'll start by saying to take a hold of any opportunity that comes your way. I think that's an important life lesson. Maybe not every single one, but as many as you can. If an opportunity comes which looks interesting, might not be related to what you're interested in, but looks interesting, could go somewhere, is worth it, just take the opportunity. That's my first piece of advice. That's probably mainly to current students as well as prospective students. With someone who's just finished sixth form, thinking about university, thinking about what they can learn, is it worth it? Because there's a lot of debates going on at the moment about is university worth it? I'm not going to say it's worth it for everyone, but what I will say is that there's a lot to learn at university beyond just what people talk about. People talk about, oh yeah, you can go to university and learn a business course or learn geography or learn accounting and finance. That's not what you learn at university. You learn more at university, like inside and about yourself and how to tackle the world and how you said conquering the world. You sort of learn how to do that over your 3 years. So I would say take a hold of every opportunity and think about what university could teach you beyond just the classroom. In terms of using the career services, in terms of my advice about that, I would say there's great things available to everyone who know how to look for it. That's the case of any university or anywhere really. We have great internships here. I did 2 internships for the university, and they were sort of a shot in the dark just because basically my brother did an internship and I thought I should probably do an internship. So I took a shot in the dark and did one. And I genuinely now have my job because of those internships, 90% because of those internships. So I would say there's loads of stuff available for everyone, and take a hold of what is available. Internships, careers consultancy, because sometimes you might need someone just to listen and just guide you. CV workshops, interview workshops, all these simple things which seem like, they're 1 hour a week maybe, and you just seem like, oh, maybe not. Just take a hold of it. Take everything that is there and just exploit the system, really. You're paying all these tuition fees for all these things. Exploit the system and take every opportunity you can, and just think about how much you could learn beyond BA geography, for example.
Yeah, that's brilliant. What about you, Sonia?
I think with me, when I come out of college myself, I was really like, I don't know what to do. And then I think it is very overwhelming, like you said earlier, where you're just put into a position and you're like, oh, I have to pick my career now. And I'm going to do it for 4 years. I might hate it, right? And then when I come out of Peter Simmons, it was very much academically driven. So I didn't know anything but academics. And then I took a gap year to kind of rekindle and think about what I need to do and how I'm going to get there. But I think when you're going to choose what university's right, make sure you take advantage of those open days and visit days, because Will was a student ambassador. I myself was a student ambassador. I've done plenty of talks for the University of Southampton. And I've met loads of students that have come to me and said, well, how do I even know if that's something I want to do in the future? What if I change my mind? And I think just keep your options open to what you want to do in the future, because having done my accounting and finance degree, you'd think I'm going to become an accountant. But choose a degree that will cover almost everything you can use to your advantage and get the most out of it, just like you said, Will. Make sure it's not just one niche where you just stick to that, because I kept my options very open going into like a businessy degree, and then figured out that I wanted to do property, which you could say are two sides of the spectrum. So yeah, I'd say come to the visit days, come to the open days, and speak to the academics as well. I reached out to a few of the academics when I was finishing sixth form, and I reached out to Dr. Lakshmi Dorgakant, who basically specialises in audit and tax and has a background of working for very big companies abroad. And I reached out to the academics thinking they're not going to reply. They're very busy people. I'm just a student. And within probably 1 or 2 days, I got a message back saying, hello, it's nice to hear from you. If you need any guidance or help or have any questions for uni, let me know. Which I think that set the tone for my uni experience, because I was thinking, hold on a second, like they're very welcoming and open to questions and opening kind of that space, because you feel a bit distant when you're going from sixth form in college to uni. You think it's a big leap, and it is in itself. Like you would find that when you did civil engineering, was it a big leap?
Yeah, completely. From, and I'm an international student, so moving all the way from Kenya to UK to another completely different country, completely different culture. It was very, very daunting. But again, it was all about, putting yourself out there, talking to people. Some of the events, within the university sort of helped, create an environment where, you're talking to different people, you're talking to different cultures, and that just sort of helped make the uni experience a lot more, pleasant, because being away from family is is scary. But I think that helped me also come out of my shell a little bit more, because I'm like, a lot more confident, a lot more, and also in my course as well, it helps bring a different perspective into how people approach in, buildings and, civil engineering and all that. So, yeah, I do agree that some of it is just putting yourself out there in one breath, and just also having the confidence of experiencing the uni life to its fullest, in terms of just send that email, send that message. And I know us young people are like, oh yeah, they probably don't have time for us.
Yeah.
They're probably, solving world hunger or something, or, trying to save the planet. But yeah, because you're part of that journey.
100%. I couldn't agree more. But yeah, no, I had a brilliant time. And I think, just putting yourself out there a bit, you know, Like, don't shy away, because no one's going to look at you if you're in the corner. You know what I mean? No one's gonna. But also, I think when I was at college, I was looking at like top 10, top 20, right? That's a big deal. And then coming out of college, I was looking at all the universities, and they all just, I don't know, it felt like it was home. But then I'm also going to a brilliant uni, so I was like, what's working against me at this point? But yeah, no, I had a brilliant time. I think if you need that time to just take away and actually research the universities you're going to go to it, because that's what you're going to be doing for 3 years. You're researching. So yeah, just take the time out to have a look. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, because I was always very much like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Everyone knows what they're doing. Like, they were born to be a vet. But it's not actually like that.
Very few people are like that.
Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh yeah, I was 5 years old and I was already like doing stuff and building blocks, and now I'm a project manager.
It's okay to find yourself in second year of uni or third year of uni,
Yeah.
or even after uni. It's okay to find yourself then.
Yeah.
And I think what you said about not putting too much pressure on yourself, something I always think about is often there's pressure to do everything. There's so much going on. I need to join that many societies. I need to do this many internships. I need to do that. As long as you get a nice mix, a nice balance of everything, or as much as you can, you don't need to do absolutely everything, because I think some people really, really push themselves, and that can affect their social life or their academic life. But I think it's just about getting a flavour and trying things out, but also knowing what you're interested in, and not putting so much pressure on yourself to be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And last words of, advice, if you had to, if you're sitting in front of a prospective student and you're letting them know, they're a bit scared about going to university, they're like, oh my gosh, do I even want to go to university? What advice would you give them?
I think if you're scared, it's fine. I think a lot of the time I just needed reassurance, and whether that was from like my family or my mates, yeah, if you're scared, it's fine, but it's whether you act on that feeling. So if you are scared, there's only so much other people can reassure you to a certain degree, right? So I think just regain your thoughts, finish your A-levels, which they'd be doing at the time, and focus on that. Once that's done, get to the visit days, get to the open days, talk to the students that are here. Me and Will are alumni students, so we're always around, and we've got quite a good support system for them as well if they want to reach out to us on LinkedIn or any of the platforms. But yeah, don't be scared. I think this is, as much as it seems like a lot's going on in that time, just ride the wave. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a key thing that you got to take on in every bit of your life. Because even when you leave uni, you're like, what do I do? Right? Yeah. You got to get a job. You got to be entrepreneurial or whatever. But whatever happens, you just need to make sure the decision of the uni that you do pick is the right one. And make sure that it aligns with you. And if it is a trial and error, that is your journey. But yeah, I think just put yourself out there more.
If I had a prospective student right in front of me and I could give them some advice, I would give them the advice that I got in the weeks running up to when I went to university, because I was quite scared. One of the most important pieces of advice I got was everyone is in the same boat, because you've just done all your years at school, all your years at college, and everyone's different, and you don't know, you've built that life. You get a fresh start at university. You might go to university close to your home, or you might go very far from your home, but you get a fresh start, and everyone is in the same boat. Everyone is having a blank slate, a fresh start, and that is your time to sort of find out what you like and find out who you are. And you can, in many good ways and bad ways, you can forget the past. And it's a fresh start, and no one knows each other really when you go to uni. There are some, but it's a blank slate, and it's your time to sort of get a second chance at things you might not have liked in your previous years at school or college. You get to go and do stuff again. And I was very scared about going to university, mostly from a social aspect, partly because it was during COVID, but that was also just a concern for me. But once I was told that everyone's in the same boat and everyone there is looking to kind of make friends at the same time, and everyone there doesn't know anyone, it's going to be scary the first few days. Everyone is scared the first few days, and we were all scared together, which sounds bad, but it also brought us together, and it made that initial period of university very calming and very exciting as well. Some other advice I would give to students is don't rush when you first come. You know, there's so many things to get to see and get to understand, and universities are big places. So, you know, make those connections, make those friends. Do put yourself out there when you come, but you don't need to rush into so much stuff. You can figure things out as you go and know that in second year you'll be better than first year. In third year you'll be better than second year. If you take a gap year or placement year, even better. And I think that helps with the pressure, because in A-levels there's a lot of pressure in your A-level years, and there's a lot of pressure in your school years because it all builds up to that final exam. But in University of Southampton, you can kind of progress each year, and it's designed to let you learn more about yourself, learn more about your course, find yourself more and more each year. I think the structure of it is designed like that.
Do you know what? When I finished college, I didn't know I was neurodivergent. And then when I come to the University of Southampton, it was a few times where I felt really put back, and I was like, I'm zoning out for these 2-hour lectures, and it's just not like going into my brain. So I think with my journey, I was struggling almost through college, and I didn't realise, because academically I was quite smart. And then it hit me when I was at uni, and the support I gained, it's nothing to be scared about. I actually feel a lot better that I came to university and experienced everything I did, and I found out so much about myself.
Yeah.
It's like, even if you do feel a little bit disadvantaged at that point of being at sixth form or college, you're not, because you do make up for it. And don't ever feel too scared or feel like you're not doing enough, because you are, just like you said, Will, and just get on the application, reach out to people, be as pushy as you need to be until someone actually says, no, like, can you stop? I think I never take no for an answer, and that's my problem. But it's also a very good bonus as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say just ride the wave. But also, if you do feel like you've got a disadvantage, don't look at it and shame yourself for that. And I think I can speak on a lot of people that have dyslexia or are neurodivergent. Like, you will feel like you're at the back of the race, but you're not. And especially at Southampton University, they understand you so much more. They give you those one-to-ones. Pick somewhere where you're going to feel like you can flourish.
Yeah. Well, that's powerful. Yeah. Pick somewhere you can flourish.
Yeah.
That's
powerful words.
100%.
Powerful words.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. Thank you very much, Sonia and Will, for joining us. And that is all we have time for on today's episode. Thank you to Claire, Gemma and Becca, as well as our wonderful alumni, Will and Sonia, for joining us. It's so useful to build a picture of ultimately what we all want from our degree, how it is really going to get you prepared for your future. Don't forget, there's loads of information available on our website about all the different areas of our career support. If you have any questions or topics you want our future podcast episodes to cover, drop us a comment and we'll see what we can do. Good luck with everything this year, and we hope to see you on the other side of Southampton Sessions.